China's social credit system. Now,
Wait, is this a real thing? I know that sounds dumb for me to ask, but I was actually curious. Like, does China actually have a social credit system? Because I was looking at you see all these memes. It's like, oh, you got John Cena. You got John Cena. They give him social credits. He's like, oh, it's his Taiwan a country, and then he like loses it because he says yes. But it's funny. Like, did Tiananmen Square ever happen? Like, what is that? They call more social credits for you. Okay, let's see.
Now, a lot of people either try to make excuses for it, or they try to talk about how bad it actually is. I'm here to tell you that it's probably not what you think, but it in fact is probably much worse than you think.
Okay.
Everyone likes to make this comparison of China's social credit system to the episode of Black Mirror.
Bro, is this like fucking real? Like, they know, like, what do they do? Like facial recognition software? Is this a real thing? Like, am I just this fucking dumb that I never knew this?
And is basically in a dystopian future where everyone has this app
Taylor Swift?
basically rated on their popularity, whether people like them, and they're rated out of 5 stars and they're segregated as such. So, for example, car rental companies won't rent to people below a certain score. People will judge you for being below a certain threshold, not invite you.
Yeah, it's shitty because I love being an asshole. Actually, I'm a very nice person. If this was a real system, my fucking fiance, I love her to death, would be like under 1 star. She is. I feel bad for every single person, every fucking cashier. I feel so bad because she's so rude. I'm just kidding. She's not that rude, but sometimes she just has like she's a little snappy. I love you, baby. I'm sorry.
And companies might reject you from jobs. But anyway, all of this
I say a lot of these things because I know she watches some of my content and then she gets angry at me. And it's funny.
is based on the ability of everybody else being able to rate each other. So it's
Bro, honestly though, if we had this system, we really should implement the system because that would be fucking awesome. It would just be cool.
not really the same as China's social credit system in that in China, nobody is rating each other. Another misconception I'd like to get out of the way first is comparing it to the credit system, the credit score system of the US. So I think of things like FICO. Most of you are probably familiar with a financial credit score that rates your financial trustworthiness.
Yeah.
It's intended to give creditors an indication of risk and how likely you are to repay your loan commitments.
Yeah.
However, outside of transactions, a bad credit score does not prevent you from seeing your family or enrolling your kids in public school.
Well, I do because my credit score is very high. I have to stay away from my poor family. Fuck those people. I'm just kidding. I don't know what is wrong with me today. I'm such a dick today.
In China, an individual's finances, social media activities, credit history, health records, online purchases, tax payments, legal matters,
You look at my porn? I'd be fucked.
and people you associate with.
I don't want you guys seeing my porn, honestly. Like, it's not illegal, but it's kind of sometimes it's weird. You guys would just be like, you know how your parents are like, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. That's what would happen.
In addition to images gathered from China's 200 million surveillance cameras and facial recognition software. By the way, do the math. That is 1 surveillance camera for every 7 citizens. So what I want to talk to you today about is how actually your social credit score is rated, what it means for you, how you gain and lose points, and how the kind of tier system, the caste system that they've created actually affects people in China.
This is crazy.
A huge shout out to Jordan Harbinger podcast. I was recently a guest with Winston over on his podcast, and it was super fun. And seriously, before the episode on me and Winston comes out on the podcast, before that's publicly released, go check out his other stuff because he's interviewed some of the most fascinating people I've ever seen, and I love his interview approach.
Is it furry weird? I've looked at some furry stuff. It's
And also,
I'm not going to answer questions anymore.
So I promise you, if you like my content, you'll definitely like his content. So go check it out.
Hey. No, I don't like vor. It's weird.
So it's super interesting. As you guys probably know, I lived in China for over 10 years, and the first place that China tried to roll this out, or at least test, was in northern China, in the province of Shandong, in the city called Rongchang.
No, I don't like lolly stuff.
And Rongcheng is actually a place I've spent a bunch of time in. I've actually thoroughly researched the area, but I also filmed with my friend.
I feel you guys are going to keep asking. Listen. I'm not even going to say it because this is so fucking ridiculous. All right, let's get back to the video.
Conquering Northern China in this
Cutting
area.
this all
we
out.
filmed it right before they rolled out the social credit system. Thankfully, we've kept in contact with people from there, and we've been able to talk to them about how it's affected their lives. Now, I got to preface this first by saying Rongcheng, this area of Shandong province, it's always been a sweetheart to the government. So they got the sweetheart status in the government. When we were there, we rode our motorcycles throughout most of this area of the province, and we saw it was being used to test out these wide boulevards, model farms, wind projects, preserve tourist villages, very clean and organized fishing methods and things like this. It was kind of mind-blowing to see this potential.
Listen, bro. Stop asking me in my chat, okay? That's my Pornhub history, okay? All right, that's all I have to say. Is that it's PG for Pornhub. It's on Pornhub, okay? So it means that it's okay. That is your answer.
Village-esque, almost North Korea-esque level of fakeness being put on because it was almost like this poster child of China was used for its propaganda purposes. The system was being rolled out through the country, but Rongcheng is like fully documented. And I actually found the Chinese documents used to build the social credit system. So no more bullshit about the matrix and like looking at people with big data and like, oh, this person does this and blah, blah, blah. I actually found...
Look, these 4,000 people who disliked it are all Chinese government officials.
the framework and the documents used by the Chinese government to roll out their social credit system. So keep in mind, this is how the social credit system is being experimented with, and then eventually how it was rolled out to other areas. So this is in its purest form. The government basically divvied out 1,000 points to its citizens, and they're kept by local Communist Party officials. This is their baseline. So you can either go above 1,000 or you can go below 1,000. But basically, before we talk about what gives and takes away points, I want to tell you guys how their tier system works. So it's very ironic that in China, a communist country, people are rated based on their credit worthiness, right? So they have this tier system, a caste system, basically, that puts people really high up or really low. The highest tier is called AAA. Of course, that is the best. It's called model of credit worthiness. If you have 1,050 points or higher, so this means you went above the baseline, you get some benefits, right? The second tier is called double or exceptional creditworthiness. This is basically the same benefits of AAA. There's no difference, but I'm feeling like if you were missing that extra A, if you're just a double A, I would feel super subpar to my neighbor.
And you guys know how Asians feel about not getting that extra A, so.
If he's a AAA, I'm only a double A, but then I'd probably throw in like an excuse related to battery size to like make myself feel better. Anyway, the next level is the A creditworthiness, and this one comes in 3 different flavors. You got A plus.
Of course, he used a woman as the A plus A one because obviously he's sexism. Because, you know, he knows we'll perceive the man as better than the woman. Thank you so much for the sub.
A minus. So this is when you're kind of hovering around, you know, what they divvied out in the beginning. These are your benefits. You get to be...
Does Mama get punch me in the bedroom? I try to get her to do it, but she won't do it. She's too afraid of it. So
on a list to be used as a model in publicity. So you give the ability to the government to use you as a model citizen for publicity. Wow, awesome. You get priority in school enrollment and other social assistance. So this is scary. This is the few Chinese social programs that they actually have. You have to be an A to kind of get priority assistance for these things. And school enrollment is supposed to be completely non-competitive in terms of what schools you go to outside of your grades. So now it's changing to that if you are not a good model citizen, your kids don't get to go to good schools, which is terrifying. You get preferential care in employment, social assistance, and you get preference over equally qualified competitors in promotion or retention. So this is in jobs and work and things like this. And by the way, I'm not talking about some like secret speculation. These are the official documents that say this. If you're an A, you get treated as a better person. Next is relatively creditworthy. So that's when you've dipped below 1,000, right? You're locked into it for 2 years. And what happens now is if you're in a B tier, you're probably gonna get lectures and visits from people, the government officials, and they're gonna tell you how you can improve your score, right? But you're gonna be locked in there in like probation for 2 years. Now, when you drop down to a C, when you're at like 600 to 849 points, you're locked in there for 3 years before you can move up to a B even. More visits from officials. They're going to be watching you, making sure you're on good behavior. They're going to be scrutinizing you in daily life. You're going to be on a list now. Now, this list won't go to the full public with all of your information, address, age, what you did wrong, blah, blah, but it will go to other government officials. So they said it will go to a limited audience. When you drop to the lowest tier, and this is D, this is called not creditworthy. Basically, it's like if you talk about Indian caste system, it's the untouchables. You're locked into level D for 5 years, right?
What the fuck?
So this is, when you're locked into D, you're talking about the officials are coming to visit you all the time. They can cancel any government funding that you have. So not just temporarily suspend it. We're talking about canceling the government subsidies. You go on a blacklist, and this is public. All Ds will go public. So publicly disclosing the information on their untrustworthiness. They can revoke all of your titles. So if you had a PhD or scientific discoveries, you'll have that erased, right? You can get a loan, and you can actually lose your job over this. So if it's tied to what happened, like what you did,
now
so
I understand.
According to the government.
Now I understand. What the fuck? Where did my camera go? Holy crap! Now I understand why Hassan is so desperate to praise China. He doesn't want a social credit score to fall too low. I get it now. I understand. Now I understand why he's like, yeah, China's great. They've done a lot to, remove their poverty, even though they have oppressive business practices. And also mentioned how didn't mention the atrocities of China until Ethan brought it up. I watched that episode. Really turned me off to Hassan. Actually, kind of sad because I was getting into him, but kind of gross. I know I'm not taking it out of context. Shut the fuck up, dude. Yeah, go watch the Leftovers Friend of Me podcast, episode 3. They have like a conversation. Just go watch it yourself. Don't even listen to me. Just don't listen to me. Just go watch it yourself.
They can actually completely get rid of your qualifications and actually strip away your job. So you're locked into there for 5 years. But what you have to understand is that there's all kinds of direct judgment factors. So the Chinese government actually says if you commit an intentional crime, right, this brings you to the bottom of D. It's not like some sort of sliding scale here. If you went out there and did something bad on purpose, you just straight go down to D. But let me make one thing super clear. If you are a political dissident or you speak out against the government, you're screwed either way. The Communist Party of China will just lock you up or disappear you, okay? This is not a country with a rule of law. This is more of a system to coerce and influence future behavior and to standardize it for greater and ultimate control over the population.
All right. So far, I'm liking everything that I hear, China. It's really good. I really like this system. It's fantastic. I heard Chinese people can't detect sarcasm. This video is a fucking mess.
So now that you know all these tiers, right? I actually wanted to break down to make it super easy on some of the ways you can gain or lose them. Now there's like 1,000 different ways you can gain or lose points, but I'll highlight some random ones. And what I want to do is take the average Joe, and I mean ZHOU, and we're gonna make 2 of them. We're gonna make How Joe.
I don't know why that made me fucking laugh so much. That's actually funny.
Gonna make Why Joe, and How means good and Why means bad, and they're both gonna start with 1,000 points, and we're gonna go through some of the things that they're gonna do good and some of the things that they'll do bad with the same baseline to see where they end up. If you overdraft on your credit card or your bank, minus 10 points. If you return lost money, we're talking 10,000 RMB or more, and this is probably returning lost money to the government, by the way. If you just somehow come across it, that's not leading people to scams at all. That's plus 10 points. If you use WeChat, forums, blogs, or other internet technology, so just the internet, to publish and transmit negative information, that's minus 50. And that's just negative. That's
hey. The glorious President Xi Jinping does not look like Winnie the Pooh. How many points do I get for that?
Negative information about the government. If you disseminate false speech and cite...
Hey. Just because they don't let you speak out against the government doesn't mean that they're restricting freedom of speech in any capacity. Do you understand? That doesn't mean they're restricting freedom of speech. Okay? That just means that they are monitoring socially what you're saying in a way that could possibly have a negative impact on you if you say it. So, what the fuck? How the fuck could you possibly praise China? I feel like freedom of speech is like fucking number one. It is like the biggest issue to me on the way that country operates. If a country doesn't let you criticize people in it, your country's shit. Your country, not you. Your fucking you know what? Your country's government is shit. Not even your country. Your country's government is shit. This is fucking dumb. This isn't even a hot take. This is a normal thing that people say, but online, apparently, China number one.
Or cause trouble on WeChat groups, however, so not like person to person.
Hey, but you know, they're doing a lot to get their people out of poverty, even though people will outsource their labor to China because they're paying them slave wages and they jump off the top of factories and they work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, and they're trying to kill themselves because they're treated so poorly. But other than all those things, they're doing a lot to raise people out of poverty, you know?
It's minus 30. So sending a message, literally on social media, can knock you down minus 50, and if you do it in a WeChat group, that's minus 30. If you report illegal conduct, such as people participating in feudal superstition, so Chinese religions and things like that, unlawful construction, environmental pollution, or participation in cult organizations.
I mean, listen, cults are bad, but like you can get what fucking if you have like a traditional religion, you can get fucking lowered your social points. What the fuck is that shit, dude?
That's a plus 10. So basically, if you're a rat, you get plus 10.
Hey, this guy's pretending that Norse mythology is real. Minus 10 for that guy, plus 10 to you. Shit. If you don't
accept the investigations from the officers that are trying to look into why you're breaking laws or breaking rules or you're losing social credit, if you don't allow them to come collect evidence on you, that's another minus 20 points. If you are a part of a community, which everyone is in China, basically the community has like a Communist Party head, and if you go around and help them get information on all the people that are staying there, because keep in mind, you can't just randomly stay in a random place in China, you have to register. It's a very archaic system under Chairman Mao, it still exists. If you go around and get that information on who's currently there and then report back to the Communist Party of China, you get plus 3 points. Tax evasion.
3 points, bro. That kind of shit would get you fucking killed in America, dude. You fucking rat, you'd get fucking killed.
100 points. Seriously though, the entire system of China is tax evasion, and it's led by the tax officials. All right, that's just kind of how it works. If you help the community resolve a major dispute between neighbors, plus 10 points. I think that takes some pressure off the cops.
What does a major dispute mean? Like, my wife doesn't want to fuck me anymore. What is that?
The traffic stuff. If you get a fine between 500 and 2,000 RMB, which is really easy to do, especially if you go a tiny bit over the speed limit because of the speed cameras everywhere in China, that's a minus 10 points. But also, if you get a parking ticket twice, that's minus 10 points as well.
What the fuck? I speed all the time, bro. At that point, just limit your car to be able to go as fast as the speed limit, because that's fucking insane.
If you set off firecrackers, dance in a square, like those old women that like to do that, without properly applying for a permit. Playing with a spinning top.
You gotta fucking have a dancing permit? Jesus Christ.
I'm not
I thought the movie Footloose was a joke. Apparently it's real. It just doesn't happen in America.
And using a high-pitched radio horn to produce noise, or raising animals that interfere with other people's lives. That's a minus 5. And if
I agree with those.
You know why they might want to consider a law like that. Illegally holding classes, that's minus 50 points. So if you're teaching people anything, really, it's minus 50 points. They don't want people to keep having underground meetings, basically.
Oh, they don't want people to be taught that China sucks. China government sucks.
CP run or looked at school. If you help the cops capture criminals or provide evidence basically ratting them out, you get plus 20 points on that one. Surprise, surprise.
Cool.
If you violate reproductive...
What's a crime to them? Because apparently a crime to them is teaching people things. You know dancing. That's a crime. I'm going to report that crime. Excuse me, sir. These people are dancing without a permit. Are you fucking serious? They're dancing without a fucking permit? I don't know what's up with my camera today. They're dancing without a fucking permit? Thank you. Here's 3 points, taking 20 away from each of you motherfuckers. I can't believe you would do that. You know how dangerous it is to a society for you to get into a fucking area and start dancing? Holy shit. What's wrong with you? That could be interpretive dance. And you might be trying to interpret an anti-Chinese message. An anti-Chinese Communist Party message. No twerking. You can't twerk without a permit. Imagine that. Hey, I gotta go get a permit. Hey, I need a permit. To dance, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna register for a permit. Oh, what kind of dance? I'm gonna twerk. I just wanted to go and twerk in the middle of the fucking town. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ. Play the video, motherfucker.
Planning policies, meaning you break the 2-child policy in that you have 3 children, or you don't allow the government to sterilize you, which actually does happen in the government reproductive planning building.
Dude, why does my camera keep turning off?
That's minus 40. So if you have an extra kid, bye-bye social credit.
Damn, dude. Fucking kids stink.
If you donate organs, unpaid, so you're not getting paid for them, plus 100 points. And I'm assuming you have to donate organs of family members, because I'm pretty sure you probably shouldn't be donating organs of people you don't know.
You have to donate organs for money? What organ can I donate? My fucking kidney? What the fuck?
Or your own.
For 100 points? If I'm going to give up my goddamn kidney for 100 points, what are you kidding me?
I guess if you're donating your own organs, you probably wouldn't be, alive to have a social credit score, but whatever. Unauthorized renovation of houses?
Yeah, right. How the fuck do you donate your organs? What are you going to be able to donate? Like, you're going to fucking cut a piece of your skin off? Like, what could you do? Like a kidney? Or your liver? Part of your liver? That's really all you can do. Bone marrow?
But if you receive a national level reward, plus 100 points.
What does that mean?
I wonder if my presidential PE award counts from gym class. If you make a tombstone that's too big, like it exceeds the area and height limits, minus 100 points. And that's crazy. No land is in short supply, but that's nuts. If your kid joins the army, plus 5 points. Now this one's interesting.
That's it? 5 points for joining the army? Jesus Christ. I feel like you should get a little more than that.
In China, in the Constitution of China, you have the ability as a citizen to petition to Beijing directly to the government if you have a grievance and if it's not being resolved, right? So petitioning to the government doesn't mean you can go out and protest. It means you can go file a petition letter. Now, what happens is if you submit a petition, so here in Shandong, we have Rongcheng, which is like a small city, then Weihai, which is the bigger city of its area, right?
These words are crazy to me.
And then you have Beijing, which is the capital of China. If you petition a complaint to Weihai, like the next up city, rather than petitioning to Rongcheng, you get minus 10 points. So they're actively trying to stop people from petitioning to higher officials. And if you petition to a provincial level, like straight up to Shandong, that's minus 20. And if you petition directly to Beijing, that's minus 50. So literally, if you have a problem that you need resolved and you need the government to help you with, if you go to Beijing to petition, you literally lose 50 social credit points, even though it's in the Constitution. Think about that for a second. They just literally want people's problems to be confined to their area so that they can micromanage and control them. If your kid receives a recreational award or a sports award on a provincial level, you're going to get a plus 20 social credit points. So think about like, Timmy wins state championships in his football.
You get more points for being good at a sport than going in the military. That's interesting.
Your social credit points just went up. Another way to lose points is if you get criticism. So there's this thing called self-criticism in China. If you work in the party or you work even in a company, if you do something wrong or the boss thinks you did something wrong, you have to do a self-criticism. And a self-criticism is where you have to make a statement or say in front of everybody like why you were wrong. If you're ordered to have one of those, that's minus 5. If they circulate it, if they actually put it in the newspaper and be like, this so-and-so is bad because of this reason, if that happens in the city newspaper, minus 10. If it goes all the way up to Weihai, like the bigger city, if that gets circulated there, then that's minus 30. And I think you can see the trend here. This is kind of how Chinese media works, is there's stages. It goes super local, higher, 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 higher. And the higher up you go, the worse it is for your social credit score. Now, if we look at these tallies here, you can kind of understand how this works nominally. So what it looks like to me is that the government really is using this social credit system as ultimate control, almost like a Jason-Bourne minority report system that people will be too scared to do anything in the future, and they'll know what to avoid. Because when I look at the crimes or the things that really take away points on the social credit system, they're things that are against the government. They're things that are speaking out against the government. They're things that are critical against the government. Less so things that actually should be changed within Chinese society. And that's kind of disappointing. The big focus here, are your kids being good? Are you being good? Are you being loyal to the government? And that's terrifying. I see a lot of dictators around the world, if they were to read in the framework of this, would be salivating over this. It goes much further than just public shaming for jaywalkers, because China likes when the soft power comes out. There's, oh, look at this jaywalker got publicly shamed. And everyone's like, around the world, they're like applauding. They're like, yeah, what a dirtbag. I can't believe you jaywalk like this. But the implications are much more than that. The shaming behavior is one thing. This is more than shaming bad behavior. This is shaming actual potential dissidents and people that want to speak out and have freedom. This is the end. I mean, there was no freedom to begin with, but this kind of starts to delete the gray area that made China what
do you think they call jaywalking in China? Because we call it jaywalking. You think called like zhang walking or something, you know? I don't know. I know that I'm like a modern philosopher for asking these questions.
It was. Although the system's been officially in the works since 2014, what leadership could have come up with something like that, huh? Unlike media portrayals of some app you
Obama.
can check to see if someone's good or bad based on the government, the reality of what the social credit score really is much more complicated and it's much more sinister. At the same time, China's paid 50-cent army, or the nationalist disinformation team you might see trolling around comment section, they want the rest of the world to think that it's either exactly the same as a FICO credit score or a handy tool to punish criminals. It's much bigger than that. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please head over to patreon.com/lawai86. We have a really good community over there. You can send me personal messages.
That's just fucking content. Let me just tell you, dude, this is fucking nuts. This is insane. I first of all thought that the social crisis was a joke. I didn't quite understand it. I thought it was a joke. It's just fucking real. So the Chinese social credit system is real, and what it really boils down to is that it's a really good system in a country that treats their workers very well. They allow their people to freely. Workers are treated very well. Obviously, they don't treat Muslims poorly. They haven't hurt any Muslims or killed any Muslims at all. And Taiwan's not a country. And what else do I need to say so I can increase my social credit score? America sucks, and pollution is cool, right? Those are cool. A lot of credit score. Okay, pollution is good. What else is a good thing? I said Taiwan's not a country, right? Yeah. Communism is cool. Donate your liver and your kidney. Tiananmen Square never happened. And yeah, America started the coronavirus. Speeding is lame. Blech. I really don't know how you could be educated on this social credit system and actually have anything positive to say about China. No dancing. No dancing. It's really unfortunate because that means that Ted Danson can't go to. No Ted Danson's in China. No Ted Danson. This is like a weird picture of Ted Danson. Ted Danson. And to end this off, I know this will lose me social credits. I actually thought Becker was pretty good.